Generally speaking, kids' games are a little bit, how do you say this, bad? I mean, don't get me wrong, kids' games can be a lot of fun, but most of the games targeted at kids are somewhat one-dimensional. The best examples of these types of games are licensed games, usually involving TV shows or movies, Minecraft and Roblox, and other creative games, and I can't believe I'm saying this, Fortnite. Licensed games are quite the rabbit hole by themselves, consisting out of party games, puzzle games, adventure games, and the list goes on. Honestly, it's pretty much impossible to pin down what the average licensed game is about, but a general estimation can conclude that they're pretty bad. Creative games, in my opinion, are some of the best games for kids. Minecraft and Roblox are, of course, the big daddies of creative games, with both of them having many clones. A great man once said, "If you're being copied, you must be doing something right." So judging by that, I think it's fair to say that kids like creative games. And then there's Fortnite. Fortnite has, as far as I'm aware, become the biggest game ever. A rip-off of a rip-off of a rip-off is the biggest game ever. Something tells me that kids are eating this stuff up. Well, and kids aren't really subtle about liking it either. Now, while Minecraft and Roblox can appeal to children's creativity, they are still pretty linear games. In creative, the only thing you can do is just build, and in survival, all you can do is, well, survive. Fortnite, meanwhile, is just the same thing, over, and over, and over again. As far as I'm aware, there's only one map in Fortnite, and there is a definite meta, with some weapons clearly being better than others, if I'm to believe anything that comes out of this baboon's mouth.
The f*** you say to me, you little...
You may ask yourself, "Scott, why are you telling me this?" Well, I'm telling you this to enforce my point that most kid games are very shallow. But then, on the other end of the spectrum, lies Splatoon. Now, you may not have noticed yet, but I think Splatoon is awesome. Splatoon is, obviously, primarily aimed at kids, with bright colors, cutesy characters, and that distinct Nintendo touch. It'd be hard-pressed implying that this is an adult-orientated game. Well, say for the... well, the... So why does Splatoon, as a game, just work so well? Well, to start off with, it's not based on already existing property. Now, you may think this doesn't work in the game's favors, since children are more attracted to a game if they recognize the characters on the simple basis that they've seen them before. But because Splatoon started off as an original intellectual property, it doesn't have to fill a niche role as a game. SpongeBob games, for example, usually involve something that you could see SpongeBob doing. You're either roaming Bikini Bottom, preparing Krabby Patties, or involving yourself in other activities that you could see SpongeBob participate in. Splatoon has no scenario set up for the characters to be in, other than the scenario of the game itself. This doesn't make it feel forced, in a way, the gameplay that is. Secondly, Splatoon doesn't require you to be good in the video games in order to win. I mean, shooting the enemy is one thing, but what if, hear me out, that same bullet also has value when not shot at the enemy? It's genius, really. See, not everyone can aim, but everyone can shoot the floor. And if shooting people in an online game mode isn't your thing, you can still try out the other two modes. The single player campaign is a perfect tutorial in building up more confidence as a player for later use in online, and it's of course overflowing with the Nintendo touch. While Salmon Run gives you slow enemies with a big hitbox and low health to drill your bullets into. The online multiplayer maps are also quite easy for kids to understand, while Fortnite has a big map which for the most part is nothing but hills and a house here and there. Splatoon's maps are small and symmetrical, meaning kids will have a quicker understanding of the map. Meta isn't a problem either, as there's no such thing as a meta weapon in Splatoon. You get one weapon from the get-go and you can literally purchase your next weapon after your first game. Because all the weapons have their strengths and weaknesses, players can get good with one or two weapons, or if you're really adventurous, with one weapon of every variety. And in Turf 4, all of these weapons still do the same thing, that being spreading ink. Splatoon also has a large focus on its music. Heck, both of the final bosses in both Splatoon 1 and Splatoon 2 revolve around music being played. There is also not a single word of English in the entire soundtrack, giving the gibberish used in the songs and the speech patterns of the characters that much more charm. Then there's the characters themselves. Inklings and their new friends, the Octolings, have large heads, big eyes, and funny animations, giving them a little bit of character and making them look cute. Perfect for kids. Whilst the playable Ink and Octolings are technically nothing more than a blank slate for you to customize until the cows come home, the unplayable characters are a joy to experience for any kind of player. Who's Pearl? Oh, she's the cute childlike rapper. Who's Marina? Well, she's the shy adult to Pearl's childishness. Who's Mary? Your witty sarcastic guide, of course. Who's Captain Cuttlefish? He's the old guy that just wants to fit in. Who's Callie? The bubbly innocent pop star. Who's Mr. Grizz? He just wants eggs.
Bring me eggs.
But, whilst I've been going on about reasons children would like the game, that doesn't mean that Splatoon has no appeal to teenagers, tweens and adults alike. Splatoon is an official esport in Japan, and if it wasn't for the trust in the more skilled players, which are mostly teenagers and above, ranked games wouldn't exist. All of this culminates in a game with more character than Fortnite, more appeal than the average licensed game despite not being based on an existing property, and is a bigger eye-catcher than Minecraft or Roblox. That makes Splatoon the kids game that works.